is harder as a woman in leadership? Speaking up in meetings or giving feedback? In this video, I'm going to share with you some strategies, really one main strategy that will help you regardless of if you feel a bit concerned or not sure of yourself when you're having to speak up in meetings or when you're having to give feedback. Now, if you want to learn over 20 years of expertise as a C-suite executive, a director, and a manager, and a public speaker, then you absolutely want to watch this video until the end, because I'm telling you, this strategy I'm going to share with you today will completely change the game in terms of how you're presenting yourself as a woman in leadership. Now, if this sounds interesting to you and you like the topic so far, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I talk about information, guidance, real world strategies, real world scenarios, and techniques that will help you as you're trying to elevate yourself as a leader. Now, on my audience, my target audience that I work with specifically are women in leadership. Now, however, I have a lot of men in leadership that are subscribed to my YouTube channel and other platforms as well. So I want to let you all know that if you are a woman in leadership or a man in leadership, what I'm going to share with you is absolutely going to help you be able to overcome some of those challenges that come up. But this is going to be more of an interactive type of a live, because I really do want to know from you which one you think is harder to do. So we can talk about it, and I can help you with some strategies to help you move forward. Now, if you're watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, and I appreciate you so much for taking a few moments out of your day with me today. There is typically a point in the video, which this is a live video, by the way, on YouTube, where people will join the discussion and give me just a few moments just to say hello to everyone, interact with them, and then I'm going to tell you this one strategy that is going to absolutely help you be able to be comfortable, regardless if you are thinking that it's a bit harder to speak up in meetings or if you think it's really hard to give feedback. Either way, this one strategy will help you be able to understand and learn how to do that. I do want to say that many people do struggle with this, and I want to know from you, what are your thoughts? So let me know in the comments below. I'm going to go ahead and start with a question. So for those of you who are joining, welcome, glad you're here today. I want to know from you. This is Friday evening, and if you are subscribed to my channel or perhaps you're new to me, I typically have a bit more time to spend with you all on Fridays. Now, I am a little under the weather today, but I want to know from you, everybody watching this live video, what do you think is harder? Which one? Speaking up in meetings or giving feedback as a leader? Let me know in the comments below. And if you really are ready to accelerate how you are communicating and stand out from everybody else, whether you're in an interview, whether you are in a role as a leader or transitioning to a different career field, then this, my friends, is the best place for you to be. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. All right, we have Roblox Trader. Welcome. Hope you're doing fantastically well today. Roblox Trader says feedback. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate you. And let me know where you all are joining from in this big, beautiful world today so I can say hello. Roblox Trader said, thank you. You're absolutely welcome. So Roblox Trader, tell me a little bit about feedback. Like, what are some things that come up for you when you're trying to give feedback that makes you feel like feedback is just a little bit harder than perhaps being able to speak up in meetings? So while Roblox Trader is hopefully responding, let me share with you some scenarios that I have seen with my clients and other individuals as to why one of these two scenarios tends to be a bit harder. Sometimes what happens is that there's one thing that's going on, and then the second, I'm going to share with you the strategy that you can do to help you, regardless if you think that speaking up in meetings is hard, or if you think that giving feedback is hard too. Okay, so typically what happens, there is a sense of uncomfortableness or a lack of confidence in what you need to say that makes people feel that if I have to speak up in a meeting, it's like, oh gosh, I don't want to speak up in a meeting. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Or if you know you're having to give feedback to someone, you kind of feel the same way. You feel like, oh no, I have to talk to Mary, I have to talk to John, I have to talk to Mike, and I have to talk to Susie. You just feel like, I don't really want to do this. I don't want to do this. And most of the time we just don't really feel confident in terms of what we're going to say. Now, what I want to share with you, the one strategy that I want to share with you all today that will help you, regardless of if you felt that being in a meeting and speaking up in a meeting is more challenging or harder to do, or if giving feedback is harder to do, is to take a few moments, and that is to just do this. Plan ahead. Why is planning ahead so important for you to overcome these challenges? Let me tell you. After I look into the comments below, Alex Flowers, hello, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? Roblox Trader says, no problem. And Roblox Trader says, okay, I'm listening. I appreciate the heart and smiley face emojis. I appreciate you all so much. So, what do you have to do in terms of, for those of you who are joining, which one do you think is harder? Do you think it's harder to speak up in meetings, or do you think it's harder to be able to give feedback? Which one? Which one do you think it is? Before I go into this strategy in terms of why, well, we talked about a bit about why, but I want to share you exactly what you need to do to overcome both of these. Let me say hello to Rays 355. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know where y'all are joining from in this big, beautiful world today so I can say hello to you properly. So we talked about why is this an issue? Because many people are they may feel a bit afraid. There's a small amount of confidence that's not there in terms of what they're going to say. So what can you do? What I would encourage you to do is to plan ahead. Planning ahead will make you become that amazing leader that everybody wants to be around. And let me explain to you why. Because if you take a few moments, let's think about it. Let's think about this. We have two scenarios, okay? And for those of you who are joining, welcome, welcome. I'm going to say hello to you in just a second. Let me know, what do you think is harder? Speaking up in a meeting or giving feedback? Let me know in the comments below. Roblox Trader has already let us know that feedback is harder. So what do you all think also? Before I go into what I'm trying to explain to you, I do want to make sure I say hello to everyone. Majid123, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. And Maya, hello, welcome, welcome, Maya. Okay, Raise 355 says giving feedback. Okay, so we have 2 votes for giving feedback, and Roblox Trailer says yes. So tell me, as I'm going through how planning ahead can really change and make this more comfortable for you, Roblox Trader and Raise 355, tell me, what is it? What is it from your perspective that giving feedback is just so hard? Let me know, because you're gonna learn over 20 years of experience from me as a C-suite executive, a manager and director. I have managed hundreds of employees, and I understand how to have those very friendly, and sometimes you have to have more challenging situations. There's a lot of videos here on my live that talk about how to handle your emotions under pressure, how to have difficult conversations. So if giving feedback is something that you want to learn a lot more about, then this is definitely going to be some videos that you absolutely want to watch on my channel, because these are going to help you deal with those very contentious situations come up. Sometimes leaders, giving feedback can go in the positive or can go in a negative direction. You just want to be prepared for either one, right? All right, so Majid123 says, speak Arabic. Majid, I do not know how to speak Arabic. I will tell you that. I'm a native English speaker, conversational Spanish on my end, but I'm glad you're here. Let me know if I can help you in any way. The amazing world of Carter, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Feel free to let me know where you're joining from today. I saw someone's from Arizona. Who is from Arizona? I thought it was there. It may have been retracted. Okay, no problem. Let me know where you're joining from the big, beautiful world today. All right, so Raise 355 says it's because you can't really be right or wrong. True. Very good point, Raise 355. And so let's dive into that. Now I'm going to share with you why planning ahead is the best way to help you overcome if you are worried about speaking up in meetings, or if you are worried about giving feedback that you feel like it's really hard. If you take a few moments to plan ahead, it will completely change your life. Not for these 2 scenarios only, but just in general. So typically when you are in a meeting, you have some idea of what this meeting is going to be about. Whether it's a meeting with a group of people, or it's a meeting where you're giving feedback, you know that there's something you have to talk to this particular individual about. And we're going to focus on feedback first, just because we've got two votes so far on feedback. You have an idea as to what it is specifically you want to say. And Race 355 is right, because sometimes it is very difficult to determine if you're going to be right, if you're going to be wrong. But the best way to do it is to think about what is the most important topic, solution, issue that you need to talk about. And I would really try to limit it to 1 to 2 if you can. Now, I'm going to talk a bit more about this, and this goes into difficult conversations a bit. So I want to highlight that briefly. I have a video that goes into a lot more detail on it that's live on my channel. You're welcome to check it out and subscribe if you like the information so far. Now, I will say that if you take a moment and say, this is what I need to talk to about this person, this is going to give you the opportunity to have it written down at least, or in your mind, memorized, however you want to do it, of the one thing that you need to get through in this conversation. Sometimes when you're giving feedback, if you've given feedback before, like I have, you may have one topic in mind and the person starts talking and you go round and around in a circle and you're just wondering, well, how in the world did I get here? If you take a moment and try to plan ahead, this gives you the opportunity to really be able to have that conversation so you're feeling a bit more comfortable. Now, I do want to go into more detail on this, but I do want to talk about what's going on in the chat. So Raise 355 says, me, I live in Arizona. Well, welcome. I'm living in the Sunshine State of Florida. So welcome in from Arizona. All right, Roblox Trader says, my perspective is that when explaining feedback, it has to include evidence, and that's really hard not to understand. And then you will have to explain everything you know. That's a really good point. So that's a really good point. And Roblox Trader, I appreciate you so much for mentioning that. So let me tell you what I typically do when I'm giving feedback. And this goes into more of my difficult conversations video, but I want to make sure that you all are feeling pretty comfortable. So that these conversations, when they happen, they don't have to feel hard. They really don't. So this is what I do. Literally, what I've done as a C-suite executive with employees, with team members, when I have to give them feedback. I'm giving you the exact roadmap. Are you ready? I plan ahead. That is number one. So what I'm sharing with you is what I actually do in real practice. There's many people on YouTube that have videos and channels, and they're giving you, hypotheses and theories and et cetera as it relates to leadership and managing people. I'm telling you real scenarios that actually really do happen and real situations that come up. So the first, I plan ahead. I think about who is the person that I'm speaking to that I need to give feedback to. Who is this person? What do I mean specifically by that? You have your couple categories of people. They may be highly emotional. They may be unemotional. They may be in between. That's what I've seen so far in terms of a broad category. Now, when you are giving feedback to your highly emotional people are going to already be on pins and needles, as we say here, because they're just like, oh, what does this person have to talk to me about in terms of giving feedback? Like they already kind of feel like there's some people that are just already at a heightened emotional state. That's just how they operate and that's just how they function. So you have to take a moment and to plan ahead. And what I mean by planning ahead, you want to think about who is the person you're speaking to in terms of giving them feedback. The second is, what specifically do you need to say? What is the outcome? What is the result? What is the conclusion? What is going to be the next steps for this feedback that I'm giving to this person? Narrow it down to at least 1 to 2 things. I would really heavily focus on one. I really would, because sometimes when we are communicating as it relates to feedback, people can take it the wrong way. And I'm telling you from the perspective as a public speaker, you really want to be very observant of what they're doing and their body language, because their body language will tell you what they're not really wanting to say to you. So focus on at least 1 or 2 things you want to give them feedback on and really stick to that. Now, I'm going to give you a secret. Now, this is something that I teach my clients in a one-on-one setting, but I want to share it with you all because this is how you make those feedback conversations not so hard, okay? This is what I do. So I've taken a moment and I have planned ahead. I've thought about who am I speaking to? Am I speaking to an emotional person? Am I speaking to an unemotional person? Or am I speaking to somebody that's a little bit in between? Figure that out first, because that determines your delivery in terms of what you want to do. Now, we already have that. already know what I'm going to talk to them about. This is literally how I start the conversation. I have the person come in, either we're talking in an office or in a different setting where we can just communicate one-on-one, and I will literally ask them this. Hello, Susie. How are things going for you? I just wanted to just check in with you. How's your day going so far? Now, you may be saying, well, that's not me giving feedback, but this, leaders, is extremely important in terms of you giving feedback to somebody else. If you want to have this feedback be well received, you have to start the conversation off in a way where you are being cordial to get them off guard. Most of the time when people feel like you're having to give them some feedback, they're already on guard. They're on defense. They're ready to go. They're like, okay, what's going to happen? So you want to get them off guard. And so I typically will say, how are things going? How are things going for you? And I let them talk. And I listen to what they have to say, because many times the person knows what they need to improve on. And if you just listen very carefully what they have to say, they will usually tell you or allude to what you're giving them feedback on. You may think this is not possible, but I'm telling you, for the past 20 years, I have had difficult conversations, feedback just like this. And majority of the time, the person will tell me what they are struggling with. And so when I say, okay, how are things going for you? How's your day going? And they say, oh, it's going pretty good. It's all right. And I ask them, how are things going with you in your role? And just don't say anything else. Use the power of the pause I'll talk about, and eye contact and the cowboy. If you haven't watched my videos before, definitely check out my strategy and my analogy as it relates to making eye contact with someone in terms of a cowboy. So I'm not gonna go into it today, but you definitely watch the lives to check those videos out. You'll see it in my live feed. So listen to what they have to say. When you ask them, how are things going in your role, or how are things going in your position, people will usually open up and say what it is. And if you feel like they're not telling you everything, you can say, I know there's been a lot of challenges lately, right? And there's a lot of things that's been happening. And I know we've all been trying to work together. So I just wanted to get your insight to see how you're feeling. When you come at somebody, giving them feedback in a very empathetic way, that you understand things have been difficult, it's been really hard, it makes the person feel validated, that they can have a very confidential, candid conversation with you. And this, leaders, is what you want to have when you're giving feedback. It makes the conversation so much easier for you to be able to manage. Your feedback conversations are going to be different, but there's aspects of them that should be the same. Like the beginning, as I mentioned, and when you're asking the question, how are things going? They should be pretty consistent. Now, I do want to say, when they give you feedback and they tell you, oh, you know what? Let's say Roblox Trader, you're giving me feedback and I'm talking to you. Roblox Trader, Raise 355, I'm really struggling with this part of the job. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I'm really having a hard time with it. Then that's when you can lead into that one topic that you want to talk to them about as it relates to feedback. So after they said, oh yeah, this has been hard, I'm really struggling with this Roblox Trader, I'm struggling with this Raise 355, then either one of you could say, I understand and I really appreciate you letting me know that you're struggling with this. I've noticed that lately you have been working towards this topic, or I've noticed that you have been having challenges just as you mentioned in this topic, and let's talk about it. Let's see how we can come up with a plan to help you overcome whatever challenge that they're dealing with that is centered around this one topic. Now, this is a great way for you to create somewhat of a co-discovery, because people typically like to receive feedback if they have an idea that they discovered the feedback themselves. So if you have a conversation with someone and they're telling you they're struggling with this is a challenge, this is hard for them, and they're telling you that this is what I'm struggling with, and you just come in and say, okay, I've noticed that this has been a struggle for you, so I want to talk to you about it and see how we can come up with a plan together to help you move forward. This is the way you give feedback from somebody as a C-suite. Okay, I'm sharing with you how you give feedback on a higher level, because most of the time, let me know in the comments below if you've ever received feedback Most of the time, feedback is very much of a almost like thumbs down on you. What are you doing? This is not right. We're going to put you on a PIP and all these type of things. And so if you can give your feedback in a similar manner to what I'm referring to you, it will make this not be so hard. Make it to where you have some structure. You're planning ahead. You know who you're talking to. And then you also know exactly what one topic you want to cover with them and let them tell you what it is. Because the majority of the time, they'll mention something that you know you need to talk to them about. And just tie it into your one topic. And I always say, yes, thank you so much for letting me know that. I've noticed that you've been struggling with topic, whatever topic is. Let's talk about a plan so that we can help you be able to move forward so that you can overcome this challenge you're facing. And that is where you start to give your feedback. This is how you make it a bit easier. So this is some really great information. Feel free to share it with your friends, because a lot of times in the leadership world, there's not a book that says, this is how you're supposed to give feedback to where it's well received. Because every time I've given feedback like this, it has been well received. It has not been negatively received, because I let them tell me what's wrong, and I just come in and say, okay, I've noticed that you've been struggling with this. Let's talk about it. So let's go into the chat. Okay, so we have Brian Mancia. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. And Roblox Trader says, one topic, okay. Rumi, welcome back, Rumi. How are you doing today? Rumi says, hi, my sisters watch your videos. Well, Rumi, tell them thank you. And thank you so much for introducing them to me. I appreciate you. And Rumi says, it's me from yesterday. Yes, Rumi, I remember you. Thank you for being here. Roblox Trader says, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I have to go. I understand if your dad, I'm so sorry. So no problem. Roblox Trader, hey, really appreciate you being present for the video today. Feel free to subscribe. You are obviously at the point where you are trying to elevate yourself as a leader. And so this is absolutely the best place for you. If you're trying to go to that next level and generate more income and go to the next level in your career and make that bigger impact on the world, it starts by how you communicate. I say on my channel all the time, people become great by how you communicate. And so my goal here, my mission on earth, is to help unlock the greatness within you. And I do that by helping you to communicate at a higher level than your peers. So feel free to subscribe, and you're always welcome to watch the replay back whenever you have a bit of time. So appreciate you being here, and thank you for coming. All right, Roblox Trader says, sad, I'm sorry for the typo. Oh, no problem. It's typing, so I completely understand. No problem at all. Roblox Trader says, and I subbed. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. If you have any topics you want to learn more about, especially as a leader, let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to support you. My one-on-one client base is with women in leadership, but I have a lot of women in leadership and men in leadership that are on my channel. So the content I share as it relates to leadership and communication can go for either gender. Whether if you're a man or a woman, leadership transcends gender. We're just trying to learn and grow together. So glad you're subscribed. Feel free to let me know if you have any videos you want to learn more about. Now, for those of you who are here who may be new to what we're talking about, the question of the night is the following. This is the question. What is harder, speaking up in public or giving feedback? Now, we've had a couple of votes already so far about giving feedback. It's really hard. So I just gave a very, very quick synopsis of how I give feedback that is well received. You're welcome to use it, apply it. If you have some challenges that you're dealing with and you're just thinking, I'm at that level in my career, in my role, I'm a leader, but this has really, really been something very difficult for me, then reach out to me for a strategy session. It is in the link below. This is an opportunity for you and I to work together. Basically, we just have a complimentary call for the time being and say hello. Let's have a conversation. Where are you at? Where are you struggling with? How can I support you on your journey? So feel free to sign up for the session while I still have space on my client roster. I will say that things have been a bit more busy on my end, especially with clients, and I want to be able to help as many individuals as I can, but sometimes there's limitations just depending on the demand. So feel free to reach out to me as soon as possible. Now, even though we did not receive any votes today here on the live as it relates to speaking up in meetings, I want to talk a bit more about that too. So we talked about what is the reason why people feel this way, whether it is speaking up in a meeting or perhaps they are giving feedback. There's a bit of fear, there's a bit of lack of confidence that's there in terms of what you're trying to say. You just don't feel good about what you're trying to say. So I shared with you why planning ahead is really, really important. Now, I shared with you also the strategy that I mentioned about giving feedback, since that received 2 votes this evening. I mentioned that you have to plan ahead. Now, for your meetings, speaking up in meetings, it's still the same. You have to plan ahead, but speaking up in meetings requires another level that people don't talk about too much. Are you ready? So we already know that you have to speak up in a meeting. Many times people don't know what to say. They don't know what they want to say. They don't know what they want to talk about. Well, this is why that strategy I mentioned to you about being able to give feedback, why you have to plan ahead. You have to plan ahead when you're trying to give feedback. You have to do it. So same thing with a meeting. Majority of the time, you know or have some idea of what this meeting is about. So determine what is the one most important topic or statement or idea that you need to share in this meeting, and just limit it to one. Now, when you start to develop yourself more, you're going to be able to go over 1 topic, 2 topic, 3 topic, 4 topic, 5 topic in a meeting. But if you're just trying to get yourself to where this is not feeling so hard for you to do in terms of speaking up in a meeting, then just focus on 1 topic, leaders. Just 1 topic, just 1 topic, 1 statement, 1 idea, 1 initiative, whatever it is that you need to share with the group. Because sometimes what happens when we are in those meetings and we feel like we don't want to speak up, majority of the time, there's a lot that's going on here in our minds. We're overwhelmed. We're thinking about all of these other things going on. So I found that if you can just bring things in and just narrow it down to one topic, it makes you not feel as overwhelmed, and you're very focused in your meeting, knowing that I just need to focus on one thing. All I need to do is focus on one thing. I just need to say this one thing. I just need to talk about this one topic. It makes it a lot easier for you. Now, I do want to share a bonus, I would say to you. The bonus when you're speaking up in a meeting, if you feel like this is hard, remember, you got to plan ahead. You know what this meeting is about. So know what it is that you want to talk about. But in a meeting setting, what's critically important that people don't talk about is you have to really be very, very observant of the room. This is so incredibly important because as leaders, this is how you read a room. You can't read a room if you're not paying attention. You can't change your message in terms of how you want to deliver or when you want to deliver if you're just simply focused on yourself. You have to be that person that can look around at the room and observe everyone and see what are they doing. Most of the times, their body language will tell you what they are not willing to say. So if you need to speak up in a meeting, and let's say you have a hot topic that's being discussed right now, and you know you need to speak up and you need to say something, take a moment and think about that one topic that you mentioned that you wanted to talk about in the meeting. You need to speak up on this subject and see what's going on in the room. When those hot topics come up, or maybe not even a hot topic, it could be just a very interesting topic or interesting program. If you pay attention to people in the room, they're going to tell you if they're interested or not. Want to know why? Because they will either lean forward, or their eyebrows may go up, or they may smile, or they may just look just very happy. If it's something, a topic that they're really not interested in, you'll see the following. They may scowl, they may make a weird face, they may frown, okay? Or they may just start shifting gait because they feel uncomfortable. You may see them moving around. You may see a pin pop top off. I've seen that many times because people have pins, and when they are feeling uncomfortable, they would just pop the pin tops off. So you'll see people start to make those type of very subtle, very, very subtle, nonverbal body gestures that you can pick up on and say, you know what? This is my time. I need to say something. Excuse me, I wanted to talk about this topic. Or you may look at everybody and see that people are really upset about this topic that you want to talk about and may say, I may want to wait on that for now. I see that everybody's really frustrated. It may not be the time for me to talk about it, specifically as it relates to this topic. This is how you can speak up in meetings. Planning ahead and making yourself very, very observant of what's going on in the room. This will help you to determine whether you want to deliver your topic now and speak up now, or if you want to speak up later. Now, just because you feel like this is hard for you, that doesn't mean you don't need to speak up. You still need to speak up, because this is a part of being a leader. This is a part of public speaking. Public speaking is a part of every conversation you have, believe it or not. You still want to be able to speak. You still want to be able to talk and really have a conversation with someone. So this, I'm telling you, are strategies that I have used personally over the past 20 years. These are strategies that I have used with my one-on-one clients when they are trying to elevate themselves as executive women and they're trying to go to that next level, whether they're at the beginning of their leadership journey, the middle, or the end of their leadership journey. They are really at a place where they're trying to go to that next level in their careers. And these strategies are actually very, 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 very helpful if you're trying to elevate where you're going from. So make sure you're using these strategies. Remember, the one most important strategy was what? Being able to plan ahead. Whether you think that speaking up in a meeting is harder, or if you think that giving feedback is harder, if you do the one strategy I mentioned to you about planning ahead, it will make these conversations not as difficult as you think they may be. All right, let me look and see what's going on in the chat. IXL Multic, welcome back, friend. How you doing today? All right, IXL Multic says, have a great weekend. Enchanted to see you. Well, welcome back. So glad that you're here. Appreciate your comment and appreciate you stopping by. We just talked about which was harder, giving feedback or speaking up in a meeting. And so we had 2 votes so far that giving feedback was harder than speaking up in a meeting. So I just did a brief synopsis of how to really have those conversations and make them not so hard so that you feel more comfortable talking about it. So IXL Multic, I know you do a lot of things. You have a lot of things going on. So if you have any insights, feel free to let me know. But I appreciate you, friend, for stopping by on the channel. I hope you have an amazing weekend as well. And if you all have any topics specifically that you want me to dive more into for you, especially as it relates to leadership and communicating really at that higher level than your peers, to be that very inspirational leader that is having people to really work together and making that big impact on your communities in the world, then feel free to let me know in either the comments below here on this replay or perhaps on any one of my videos. If you leave a comment, like IXL Multic left a comment, I will respond to your comment. I will respond to it and give you some feedback, but I'm really here to support you. My mission here is to really help as many leaders elevate themselves in terms of how they communicate, because I genuinely believe that people become great by how they communicate. And so, as I mentioned earlier, my goal is really to unlock the greatness within you. And that's by helping you to really communicate at a higher level, being prepared for those very friendly and maybe sometimes challenging conversations that a lot of people don't really go into detail on as it relates to strategically in real world what actually happens, instead of talking about this leadership model, this theory, or this hypothesis. That's not what I talk about on my channel. I'm telling you what really, really works and what I've seen that happens a lot of times as it relates to the very wonderful world of leadership. So I appreciate you all being present today. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. IXL Multic, appreciate you being here. I appreciate Roblox Trader, has some really great insights. Raise 355, thank you so much for being here. And Rumi, welcome back. I appreciate Rumi for being here and telling her sisters about my channel. I appreciate that. So I hope you have a great weekend. If you're new to me, I go live Tuesday through Friday. So if you're ready to really go to that next level in your leadership journey, you absolutely want to subscribe to the channel. Tuesday through Friday, I go live unless there's something that is catastrophic that's happened and I am not able to make it. I almost didn't make this live tonight because I've only slept literally for 3.5 hours because I've been working on some things with a client to get her where she needs to be. So nonetheless, I'm here to support you all on your journey, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.